Make sure I mute myself so we don't hear the echo as we go live. So as soon as I mute myself, then we can start. Make sure I mute myself so we don't hear. There we go. Now we don't have to hear any of that. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to our positivity challenge. I am very excited to get into week 3 with you, go over everything that we did last week, which I can't believe we're like halfway through, more than halfway through our positivity challenge. I feel like we just started. So, if you have not gotten a chance to look at the positivity challenge posts, or you're wondering where all of this is happening, it's all happening at members.organizetoelevate.com. You can join the free oasis and find all of the posts, and they're going to live there. They're going to stay there. So if you go through, let's say you go through a challenging part of life and you feel like I really need a positivity infusion, you can go back and do these posts again and again and again. Repeat the ones that speak the most to you, and like just know it's there. Know it's there to support you in any way that you need. So, let's jump into what we're doing today. So we're going to do our week 3 review. We're going to do a little bit of journaling. We're going to talk about fueling positive awareness. So we have spent a lot of time in the first 2 weeks talking about frequency and vibration as far as emotion is concerned. And we know the manifestation formula is thoughts plus feelings or emotions equals action, which leads to results. So we're going to talk about the other part of the equation today, the thought part of the equation. And we're actually going to get into a little bit of brain science. Nothing heavy, but I really think it's going to help you with like, oh, that's why that happens, right? It's this great little like mental refresher of why things happen the way that they happen. And then we're going to do a fun activity called joy mapping. It's really easy. If you have artistic supplies that you enjoy using, markers, pens, colored pencils, whatever. If you have, fancy paper that you want to use, just go grab it. But if you have white paper or your journal and your regular pen, it works just the same way. But if you want to jazz it up, feel free. Then we'll do some affirmations and we'll take Q&A in case anyone has any questions. And as always, you can share through the chat throughout the entire meeting. And then after we're done live streaming, I'll open up everyone's microphones. So hi, I'm Camille Pronka with Organize to Elevate. I'm a professional organizer and I'm also a high performance coach. And I help people make the most of their space, their time, and their mindset. So this way you can live a life that feels truly rewarding and like it's your purpose, right? You're fulfilling your purpose here. Everyone wants to have their life rooted in some kind of meaning, but we get caught up in all the minutia and the little things that happen in life, and we don't feel like we're living in our purpose. So this is about clearing all the cobwebs and really getting into what positivity can bring into our life. So this way we can get to live that purposeful existence. And we're going to have some fun while we do it. The brain is a muscle that can move the world. Stephen King, famous for writing these awful, awful stories, right? So part of me enjoys a good Stephen King like adaptation movie of a novel. I've never read his work because I find it very, very dark. But even he realizes, right, in this creation of these dark worlds that he has, that his brain is a pivotal point in creating literature that literally makes people stretch um their recognition of possibilities, right? And not necessarily possibilities that are grounded in reality, but possibilities that are, fantastical. And when we step into fantasy worlds, be them positive or negative, they stretch our bandwidth for even what is possible. Even when we realize that, okay, well, clowns aren't going to come out of the sewer. That's all I know about it because I've never watched the whole thing, and I know it's like not truly about a clown, but it's like you're realizing that there are more things that can be thought of than what we think of every single day. So, um, remember that your brain is this quote unquote muscle. And the more we train it, and the more we believe that it is flexible and malleable, the more that we can work with it. When we think that, oh, this is just the way it is, this is the way I am, this is how I'm programmed, and we treat ourselves like a computer that is tunnel visioned and can only do one thing, we shut off all of the other possibilities. And that is where his creative genius comes from, is all of those possibilities are not shut off. He realizes his ability to move the worlds. And we have that same ability. So I hope that you have all been having fun using your trackers. They are all available at members.organizetoelevate.com. Remember, anytime, like if you put 10 songs on a feel-good playlist, you can color in 10 little leaves on your tracker, right? Because they're 10 little spots of positivity that you brought into your day. I hope that you're using your daily positivity journal, either all of it or aspects of it. The big thing is to just keep cultivating awareness of gratitude and the desire to be positive. The more that you say you want to be positive, the more that you will be positive, right? The more it's in your awareness, the more that it will start to seep into your self-talk, and it will start to seep into your interactions, and it will just naturally become folded into how you operate. And then the harmonious life tracker, right? Seeing what frequency you're at as you go through your days and how you're supporting yourself with self-care. Remember, you are not going to have great cognitive function or the ability to regulate your emotions if you are sleep deprived, dehydrated, malnutrition, mal yeah, malnutritious, and and uh stressed out, right? It's like it just doesn't go together, right? Even as I'm saying the words, like, yeah, sleep deprived, dehydrated, not having enough nutrition, right? Like, and I'm expecting myself to be optimized, right? Doesn't go together. So we want to make sure we are protecting our sleep time. We are hydrating our body, especially in this hot weather, and that we are eating good whole foods. I know when I'm eating well, I feel so much better. This week, I swapped out one meal a day for a robust salad. I feel so good. It's energizing and I feel lighter, right? I also have been doing power smoothies, and those have been feeling really good too. So think about like what feels good to you and what would be supportive self-care for you at this time. You can always add in more things later on once you have a good baseline of certain habits. And then our challenge posts. So this week we did a gift exchange, but it wasn't something that we had to go out and buy. We were encouraged to use either a talent or a naturally positive thing that we do and share it with someone else, like babysitting or, volunteering to drive someone to pick up their car from being serviced, driving someone to the airport, little things that we can do that don't really cost us any money, but allow us to help other people. Like maybe you're really good at party planning, and so you're going to help someone plan their next gathering. All of those things, people appreciate it when we lend our talents and our time. So that was one. The other was making a kindness calendar. So looking at the rest of the month and deciding, like, what can I do today that would be nice for someone else, right? Maybe I write someone a card and pop it in the mail, or send someone a text that just brightens their day. Or maybe I will, take my child out for ice cream. Like whatever it is, it could just be the tiniest little things. I'm going to smile at people all day long. Put it on your calendar as a little reminder of, oh yeah, I'm going to spread some kindness today. Because when we do that, it makes us feel good too. We talked about creating a feel good playlist and then using it, right? Using it to bounce up our frequency at any point in the day when we need it. You could listen to it while you take a shower in the morning and get out the door. You could listen to it on your drive to work. You could listen to it before you go to bed at night to just feel more relaxed before you retire. So think about the songs that you would put on a playlist if you haven't made yours already. Then we talked about books that inspire us, that make us feel good, and sharing the recommendation with someone else. So if you have shared your recommendation with someone, that's great. If you haven't, it takes a second. You can also share it in our membership. So this way everyone can see what do we find uplifting to indulge in. It doesn't even have to be a book that you can read. It could be an audiobook, right? There's so many ways to enjoy literature these days. We also talked about curating our content. So I think sometimes we forget that our social media is under the direction of us, right? Yes, there are algorithms. Yes, things will be suggested to us. As soon as I go and I buy a shirt, it's amazing, but the company that I bought the shirt from all of a sudden is, sending me ads and all kinds of things. So remember that you have the ability to follow certain people and unfollow others. You even have the ability to snooze people from your feed for a certain amount of time. So if you feel like somebody's getting really heavy and you want to give a break to paying attention to their posts, you can do that and not like block them or unfriend them. Like this doesn't have to be very drastic. It could be really light and easy, but keeping your content curated will definitely allow you to draw more in positivity when you go into social media than all of the extra stuff that's out there. So the name of the YouTube account where we're going live is Organized to Elevate. It is our new YouTube channel. There's last week's video and this week's video, and more videos are going to be coming soon. I'm creating content around the house, and I'm going to be showing how I organize things and little snippets on how to manage your time, and then mindfulness exercises like the ones we do in Morning Magic and Mindful Morning. And even here today, like the journaling and the EFT, I'm going to be putting up snippets of those things too. So you'll find that it's going to start to get more full of content over the summer months, but it's same as everything is Organized to Elevate. So you should be able to find it. Day 13, the what's working list. So we really wanted to focus on, hey, what's fantastic in my life right now, right? Because there are a lot of good things. And sometimes we just take the good stuff for granted. We know it's there, but we don't really feel into it because we feel like we're fixing or recreating or even if we're not fixing and we're not dwelling in the negative, we might be dwelling in the always achieving mode, right? And that can kind of bring us down if it's not happening as fast as we want it to. So when we focus on what's working, we keep carrying that positive energy into whatever might not be working or whatever it is that we're going after right now. It's good to have that foundational base of, hey, this is what's going on. That's fantastic in my life. And then today we are in the rest and review day. So you can either take a break, right? And go be positive out in the world with no particular aim or direction. Or you can go back and do one of the challenges again, or go back and review one that you missed and catch up and just enjoy the fact that you are like, give yourself credit that you are really taking steps towards being more positive. So those were all of our week 3 posts. Let's do a little bit of journaling as we enter into the next week of our challenge. Let's reflect back and see how we're doing. So a couple of our prompts today. How have I spoken to myself this week? Have you listened to any of your self-talk? And how did your self-talk affect your mood or your motivation? The next prompt is, what do I want to notice more of in my daily life, right? Maybe pull a few things off of that what's working list, maybe add a few more things onto it. But what do you want more of? And if I created a daily joy ritual, what would it include? Right? What would you do if there were no limits? What would you do every single day to feel happier, easier, lighter, like you are more in flow? And how does sharing positivity with others, either through kindness, service, or compliments, impact your own mood and energy, right? Feel into what comes back to you when you do those things for others. So I'm going to set us a 10-minute timer and we'll come on back. And if you want to share in the chat what you have come across after doing these journal prompts, we'll take a few minutes to do that. And then we'll jump into our brain science segment. So I'm going to set us a 10-minute timer and I will see you all back after we're done journaling. Welcome back, everyone, from our journaling segment. And the chat is open if you want to share any of the things that have come about for you. I will briefly share that as I was journaling this morning, it and I've been doing this work on this presentation, so like I kind of know where I'm going with this. And you'll see in a minute where I'm going with all of this, like what do I want to notice more of in my day? Um, and I realized that I myself am caught in this loop of I have to do things, I have to get things done, I have clients to serve, I have places to be, I have presentations to make, I have, you know, mother duties, I have wife duties, like I have household stuff to take care of, right? I have these relationships to nourish, and I'm doing, and sometimes I have to just recognize and appreciate the convenience in my day, the ease in my day, because I'm constantly focusing on the work I need to do, right? So I don't forget details or miss things or be unprepared. And that's a good thing, but there has to be a harmony with there's stuff that's easy. There's stuff that's light. I don't have to work at everything because then I will start hustling, right? That's when we cross over from I'm doing the smart things, I'm being responsible to I'm hustling, I'm making it happen, I'm going after my son. That's constant, 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 constant. And it's like it doesn't have to be that much work. I can do all the responsible things and appreciate all the stuff that's just easy, like my groceries arriving at my doorstep. It's easy. My husband bringing my son to Taekwondo this morning. It's easy, right? And when I say these things, like I can actually feel my body change, right? The washing machine upstairs is washing my clothing. It's easy. I am not down at the river with a washboard to wash my clothing, right? There's so much that's convenient and light that we kind of take for granted. But when we turn our attention to it, it makes all the other things because as I was sitting here this morning, I'm like, okay, well, I have to make sure my uniform shirt is clean for tomorrow and that I have shorts and that I have all my supplies packed in the van. And I'm like, why am I making it sound like my uniform shirt being clean is this big thing I have to do today? The washing machine's going to do it. I have to literally just boop, drop it in, and I'm done. And then move it to the dryer, and then the dryer will make sure it's dry. Like this is not that big of a deal. And yet it's so funny when I'm talking with moms, it'll be like, "Oh, I have to go home and do the laundry," right? And we just need to fold it and put it away or put it in the machine. When you look at it that way, it's like, yeah, I really don't have much to feel like it's difficult. And that allows me to have the energy to put into the things that I actually want to be doing. So that was my takeaway from this was I have to see a little bit more of the ease and the convenience and the lightness. So this way, not everything starts to feel like this monumental mountain that I'm climbing. Because if I feel like I'm always climbing a mountain, my body will feel like I'm always climbing a mountain and it's going to wear down fast. And that is not what we want. I love the small joys and the progress. Yes. Oh, and the ritual. So yoga, journaling in the morning, putting down what you're grateful for. I love that. Looking forward to the day. So it's so important to look forward to the day. That kind of frames everything right there. And then listening to your favorite song every single day. I totally had a joy ritual when I was dating that summer before I met my husband. So we're coming up on our anniversary. The first day we met was Labor Day. So that's coming up. And then we got married the day before the day we met, but 2 years after, obviously. So it was, we got married the day before the anniversary of the day that we met. So we have two big days in a row right there. And my joy ritual that whole entire summer every time I was getting ready for a date, I had my playlist going. I had clothes that I couldn't wait to wear that I felt comfortable and like beautiful in. And I would do all the, lotions and potions to make myself feel fabulous. And then I would, continue listening to my playlist as I drove to whatever dating event I was going to. By the time I presented myself dating, I was like, I'm amazing. Not in a conceited way, but just like you want to get to know me. I'm a lot of fun. And people did. People wanted to get to know me and people would talk to me, women and men. And it was like I was making friends and acquaintances or just having fun with whoever was there. I was the life of the party, right? I wasn't like, I just spent the whole day, the whole week working. I'm exhausted and now I'm out on a Friday night, right? No one wants to date that. That's not a fun person to be around. So definitely all those ritualistic things. I worked out all the time. Like it definitely made a difference that summer. Yes, word shifts are so important. Instead of I have to go to work, I get to go to work, or I choose to go to work, or I love to go to work because I love what I'm doing, right? All of those word choices are so important. Yeah, more positive thinking about daily chores and activities. I love that. And yes, it will lead to more energy in the day. If you constantly look at your home as a mess, it's going to constantly feel like a burden to you. But if you look at it as little things that you do here and there, it's not going to feel as bad. Like the other day, I unloaded and reloaded the dishwasher in 9 minutes flat. 9 minutes. That was it, right? Because and the only reason I know is because I had pasta on the stove and I was like, oh, let me do as much of this as I can in 9 minutes. I did it all. But when we come home from work, we tend to look at the dishes and unloading and reloading the dishwasher is like this big day-long activity that we can't possibly finish. And so we don't do it, right? But if we look at it as 9 minutes of our life and that the machine is going to do all the cleaning, you kind of feel ridiculous not getting it done, right? So it's the kind of thing where don't beat yourself up if you're in a place where you're sitting there like, oh, I have to clean the dishes. We all have those days, right? There are some days where I don't want to be on my feet and standing at the sink. It's just, I don't. But then I remind myself, like, this is all of 9 minutes of my life. And I can choose to do it now or I can choose to do it tomorrow. And I sometimes forgive myself if I choose to do it tomorrow because I'm human and I don't want to do it in that moment. And that's okay. But I do it the next day, right? It's not like it sits there for 4, 5, 6 days. I do have either it's a this or a this. And if I choose this, then I stick to it. And I think when we get to that place where we can do that, the house feels so much more manageable. So excellent, excellent journaling, everybody. Keep your journaling supplies handy because we're going to do more activities. But let's talk, and thank you for sharing, everyone who shared in the chat. Let's talk about some brain science. We all know I love me some brain science. And this is easy brain science. So today we are going to talk about the reticular activating system, your RAS. Now, this is literally the information filter before it gets to your brain. That's all this is. It is a bundle of nerves that's at the base of your brainstem. So it's back here. And millions of data points go through the reticular activating system in a day because it is literally interpreting every single thing in your environment that is coming through your senses. So everything you hear, everything you touch, everything you see, everything you taste, everything you smell, it is all coming through this bundle of nerves that is weeding out what's important and what's not. Think about just walking through a museum, right? There's lots to see in a museum. Now, the museum tries to help you appreciate things by spacing pieces out and giving you the breadth of space to be able to enjoy a piece of art. But your brain also weeds out the pieces that it thinks you're not going to like and kind of steers you towards the pieces that you will like based on preferences that you have had previously or that you currently have in your life, right? So let's say that you are going to the Museum of Natural History, okay? Now, Camille, stepping into the Museum of Natural History, has a bevy of exhibits to choose from. There's dinosaurs, there's ocean life, there's the, jungle and the rainforest and the evolution of the world, and then there's the gemstones. I can tell you that my brain is going to go, "Ooh, gemstones," right? Because that is what speaks to me. Dinosaurs are cool. Ocean life is great. Evolution of the world is fantastic. But I like gemstones. That's the part of nature that I'm going to gravitate towards, right? If we all stepped into that same museum, we would all go in different directions. And at the end of the day, when we came back and talked about what we saw, I bet you somebody would go, "Oh, I walked through that exhibit. I didn't see that," because your brain filtered it out based on who you are and what you like and where you have been paying your attention to. Okay. So we all would have different experiences. Now, what's happening is these millions of data point that you get through your senses go through the activation system, the reticular activating system, and they get weeded out into what's important, what's not important. What's important becomes your conscious thoughts. What's not important is still kind of there. We're just not aware of it, right? So that might be something that's feeding our subconscious thoughts, or it could be something that we are interpreting and then negating and tossing, right? Because our brain doesn't remember every single thing we see. It's not that in tune. It discards what is not worth its power. So it is 100% a prioritization system that is based on your previous and current. So whatever has shaped your current thought process and view of life, right? So there might be some people who are like, museums boring. And none of it is making an impression on me because I would much rather be, um, out on a hike, right? Like nature in a museum doesn't do it for me. I'm not into this kind of thing. I want to experience nature where I can put my hands on everything and breathe the fresh air and see all the beautiful flowers. The prioritization system might be like, no, this is old, antiquated, out of date, not interested at all. And so you definitely don't get a positive experience from being in the museum. So think of your reticular activating system as your GPS. You have set coordinates and now it's following them. So it's kind of like when you buy a new car. I remember we bought a hybrid Toyota Sienna a year ago, a little over a year ago. And immediately we started seeing every Toyota Sienna that was new on the road. So much so that my husband now like waves at people in Toyota Siennas and he's like, "Oh, Toyota Sienna Club of America, here we are." And it's funny because they're everywhere. But you would drive down the road and be like, there's not that many Toyota Siennas, right? But it's our experience because it's in our reality. And I love my car. Same thing happens when you are having a baby or trying to have a baby, right? All of a sudden, you notice everybody who's pregnant or has just had a baby around you as you're walking through the mall, as you're doing things. You notice all of these ads for baby things. Like all of this stuff starts coming into your awareness. Now that I have a school age child, I'm not paying attention to baby thing. I'm not seeing tons of pregnant women anymore like I thought I was seeing when I was pregnant. So it's the kind of thing where our priorities change and then what we see and experience in life changes. Is it really all that different? Probably not. There's probably just as many Toyota Siennas on the road now as there were a year ago. or 2 years ago, but it's new to us and it's much more in our awareness. So we see them all. It's funny how our brains act. So let's talk about what are we repeatedly focusing on? So here's all the things that give input to your RAS system. Your thoughts, all of them, okay? Which is why it's important to monitor them. Not to get so hung up on editing every single thing, but having the general flavor, like an awareness of the general flavor. So this way you know where you're pointing your filter. Your emotions. We've talked so much about our vibe and how we feel and why it's important. This is also why it's important because if you are upset, you are going to be seeing upsetment in all areas. Whereas if you are like, yes, there's upsetment, but it is not this snowballing huge thing. There's way more happiness. Your brain will start to look for the way more happiness than the upsetment. Your self-talk. So you could be doing all this outward work and then, pummeling yourself inside with your self-talk. You can't trick your reticular activating system, right? It knows what's going on in there. And so it's going to continue to feed what's going on in there. So if you're not changing your self-talk, you're still going to get more of the usual things through your RAS system that are showing you that you're maybe not appreciated, right? If you walk around like, oh, no one appreciates me. Yeah, believe me, you're going to find a lot of places to feel unappreciated. But if you're like, oh, people adore, me and the things that I do and are happy, like then when someone leaves a towel on the floor in the bathroom, it's not going to be a personal affront to you because you don't feel appreciated, right? When you don't feel appreciated, that towel on the floor is like, oh my gosh, why can't anyone pick up in this house? That's how that comes about, right? So we want to have control over what input we're putting in there. Our visual cues. So if you're making vision boards or you're using affirmations, this is all part of what we do to help with that RAS system and to turn the filter, right? To turn the spotlight onto the things that we really want. And the more we shift that spotlight, the more then we can harness the power of this system to help us keep that spotlight shifted. And then our repeated habits or patterns. So if you're always going to the gym and you're always, trying to eat well, then your RAS system is going to put more things in front of you that have to do with a healthy lifestyle, right? As opposed to putting things that are, convenient, easy, sugar laden, have full of food additives, right? When we turned our attention towards removing all the food additives in our choices, all of a sudden we found this wonderful app that scans everything and allows us to know in a moment before we put it in the supermarket cart what kind of stuff is in our food. We don't even have to read the labels anymore if we don't want to. So it's kinds of things like that where once you decide, well, this is the direction I want to go in, well, then you start to see all the tools and things that are going to make that part of your life easier. So saying things like people don't like me. I don't know anyone who actually says anything like that, but if you come home and you're just like, oh, that was a rough day at work. I just don't understand why people don't like me. It's okay if you do it once, but if you're doing it every single day, you're going to start to get more evidence of people not liking you, right? People will cut you off and on the road. People will, be rude to you in a store. And instead of taking it as like a little hiccup of the day that means nothing, it's going to compound onto that mountain of people don't like me. Instead, you could say things like, I'm supported and people enjoy being around me. And then you're going to find more evidence of that in your life. Like I went out with friends last night. We went to karaoke and we all sang really badly, except for one person who had a beautiful voice, like amazing. She sang this. I've never known anyone to go to karaoke and sing a song from Les Mis. Okay. That's the level of how good she was at karaoke. And I could have sat there and said to myself, well, I'm not that. So I'm not going to sing because I'm not as good as someone else. And started putting into my activation system, okay, I'm not as good as other people, so I don't do things. I was like, I'm awful. Give me that microphone. Let me belt out the next one. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. And, who cares at that point? It was fun. We were having a great time, but I was feeding my system that I don't have to self-deprecate when someone else is better than me. I can enjoy the fact that they're an amazing singer and I can still have fun doing the same thing and not doing it as well. So think about what you're putting in there. This one's huge. My house is constantly a mess. If you walk around your house and you say, my house was constantly a mess, all you will see is the mess. It's all you will see. You will not see the things that are clean and tidy, right? You will not recognize all the clean dishes in your cabinet just waiting for you to eat something. You're only going to see the mail on the counter. There's a lot more clean dishes in the cabinet than mail on the counter. And we don't give ourselves the credit for that. So instead of saying things like, my house is constantly a mess, maybe it feels wrong to say, oh, my house is clean and beautiful, right? We don't want to feel delusional, but we can say, my house supports my lifestyle because it does. There are clean dishes in the cabinet. It is waiting for you to be able to have a meal. And you do have a counter where you can sort the mail or put it for a couple of days until you're able to turn your attention to it. This is supporting your lifestyle, and you can make lifestyle changes and then have your home shift to support you in those new lifestyle changes. But saying my house is constantly a mess, you will only walk around and see everything that is negative. And your RAS system will solidify that for you very easily. Trust me. So start to think about how you can shift that so the RAS system sees, like, oh, I've got a refrigerator full of food that is ready to nourish me, as opposed to a house that just doesn't help with the things that I want in my life. So, how do you shift your reticular activating system? Start looking at what's working, right? Like I said, dishes in the cabinet, clean clothes hung up in the closet, right? Whatever those little itty bitty things are, start to take notice of them in your house. Whatever it is that you want to attain, right? Healthful eating. That's why tracking is so important, right? When you go to a doctor and you're like, well, I want to start eating better, and they tell you, okay, we'll start writing down what you're eating. It's because you want to be aware. The fact that you're just going to write down the food, you're going to start to edit what you're writing down because you want to write down the good stuff, and you're going to put your awareness on the good stuff. When you start to write down all the cookies and the cakes and the stuff, and you put that into your awareness, sometimes you want it more because you're seeing it over and over again. So your mind knows where you're trying to go, so it starts to try to like edit that out and help you. So think about what is working. The more you lean into what is working, the more you're going to see more things that are working. Same thing, what you're grateful for. The more you write down things that you're grateful for, think about things that you're grateful for, the more you're going to find things to be grateful for. Things that light you up. The more you lean into hobbies and passions and activities and experiences that give you joy, the more joyful things you're going to want to go out and do. And you're going to start to naturally declutter the things that are holding you back from that because your focus is on it and you're starting to see more and more of it. And you're not going to want to be hampered anymore by the things that are holding you back. So, and what you do want more of, you can start to shift your attention towards that too. So, if you want more travel experiences, right? Start looking at places you want to travel. Start looking at ways to make travel affordable. It's so funny. We did this karaoke thing the other night, right? And we had a private room. There were disco lights, like a full karaoke system. It came with pizza. Like, it was great. It was a great experience. Super fun. And I was thinking, like, I want more of that. And I was thinking, you know what? Peter would have the best time going to sing karaoke. and we could invite a friend, and if everybody chipped in, it would be like super affordable, and we could have more of this. And it was this kind of situation where now I'm turning towards, okay, well, how can we make these things happen more? And who do we want to have these experiences with? It kind of swung my attention to what are some of the fun things that we can do? Like karaoke, super fun and super age appropriate, depending upon the songs you pick. So that could be a great time for a couple of hours. So again, as you do this with your system and you shift to what do I want? What's working? What am I grateful for? What makes me happy? I'm going to notice more moments that are good. And they may be subtle at first, but I'm going to start to see them. I'm going to start to see people, opportunities, and patterns that are totally positive. And I'm going to start gravitating more towards those things. I'm going to have a stronger inner narrative and a better emotional baseline, right? A higher vibe. This all goes hand in hand. The more that we can feed our RAS system to help us, not just with our awareness, it's also going to help us with that vibe, right? Because the more that we're going and doing all of this work and seeing and cultivating all of this positivity, the more we're going to feel better and better internally. It's all cyclical, it all works together. And then you're going to feel more collaborative in how you experience life. You're going to feel like you have more of a say, and you're going to start to exercise that in everything you do, right? It's not going to be this, I have to situation anymore, right? Where you keep saying, well, I have to do this, and I have to go here, and I have to help this person. No, I choose to. I choose to participate here, or I choose not to participate here, right? We definitely have a say, right? We have the ability to to make a decision. We have the ability to choose what it is we really want to do with our resources. And we get to become more selective as we put things into our RAS system. So, a little bit of brain science for us this morning, which I hope is helpful for you. So, now we're going to do an exercise to really shift our reticular activating system, and it is called joy mapping. So, I'm sorry, I'm catching up on the chat and then I'll explain joy writing, joy mapping. You started to write down what you ate a year ago. Yes, even without changing your food, you lost 15 pounds. Yes, because you were just totally aware of it and very much pointed to the goal and continuing to feed your RAS system that you were aware of your food choices. Absolutely. Yay, and it helped you get off of medication and had good health effects. That's the best part is there's things that happen after we have these experiences and after we make these shifts that are just they multiply. They bring so many wonderful things into our being physically, mentally, emotionally. Like there's no shortage of good that comes out of these types of awareness shifters. So that's really awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, let's make a joy map. So basically, you can do this however you want. If you have the time, you might want to find this little red graphic. It was on Google, but reading it is hilarious. Like joy with the kids equals tea parties and dress up as pirates. I was like, that's hilarious. Like when you think about it, like that is kind of fun. We have pirate costumes in the house. Like, why not dress up as pirates and have breakfast? Why not, right? It's fun, it's silly. Who cares? But and that's what we're kind of doing today is we're putting joy in the middle, and then we are putting spokes out to all the things that bring us joy, and then more ways that we can even experience those things. We're just going to keep branching out the joy, making it bigger and bigger, wider and wider until it becomes all encompassing. And we have this roadmap for ways that we can easily tap into being happier and bringing more happy awareness into our lives, more positive awareness into our lives. So grab those arts and crafts supplies. We're going to spend the next 10 minutes making a joy map, and then we will come on back. So I'm going to set us a 10-minute timer, and I'll see everybody in a few. Okay, everyone, time to wrap up whatever thoughts you were putting on your joy map. And sorry, I didn't see the chat right away, but yes, it really is like expansions of all the things that bring you happiness in life, whatever it is that lights you up. So this way you can look at it and like, I wrote a whole bunch of stuff. I had quite a little map going on. And it's funny because decluttering and organizing definitely made it on there. But I also put a lot of other things. Like I really enjoy movement, and I haven't been able to do that for a while. So I was writing all of the ways that I enjoy moving. I love yoga, Pilates, bar, dance, walking, stretching. And as I was writing these things, I'm like, I have to do this again, right? This is definitely a source of joy for me, a source of expression. I even put fashion on there because fashion is a an expression for me. Like I love different styles and I like dressing up and being, in costumes and all kinds of stuff. So it was very interesting to me, like some of the things that came out that I thought, I haven't been doing this kind of thing lately, and I want to get back into this. I want to lean into this again. I feel like the time has come, right? I didn't put it down on here, but I was even talking a couple of weeks ago about trying out Tai Chi. Like, if that sounds really good to me right now. So, um, so I hope you came up with some fun things on your joy map. If there's anything that you want to put in the chat that sparked for you as you were going through this, all of the things that stepped into your awareness through this exercise, please do. And remember that this is an exercise you can do at any point, right? You can make a joy map that is as big as you want to make it, as detailed as you want to make it. You can make it and hang it on the wall so you can look at it and read it all the time and constantly remind yourself of all of the things that you enjoy doing. You can do this in picture mode, kind of like a vision board, but a vision board of all of the things that you enjoy doing. So this way you keep seeing it. You keep seeing a reminder of it. You can make this the wallpaper on your phone so you can see all the things that bring you joy, or highlight one section of your joy map at a time. There's so many ways that you can integrate these types of activities in your day to day without missing the impact of doing these exercises, right? They're not just a one and done. They're things that we revisit over and over again to maximize the impact. So, if anyone has anything, you can put that in the chat. We're going to move into some affirmations. So, let's and I hope you had fun putting that together. So some affirmations to help us as we go through week 4. I can't believe we're in week 4, starting tomorrow, of our positivity challenge, our 4th and final week. So here are our affirmations to take with us. My mind sees possibilities in all situations. I naturally attract what aligns with my highest self. I am safe believing in the good that is unfolding. My attention is my power, and I choose to use it wisely. Gratitude is my default setting. I see blessings everywhere. I feel deeply that life is supporting me in more ways than I realize. And remember, make these affirmations true to you. Change words, change the format if you need to, but use them. Tell yourself these affirmations in any way that feels natural and comfortable and accessible. You do not need to look at yourself in the eyes, in the mirror, and say them to yourself unless that feels comfortable for you. It does not feel comfortable for me. I feel very foolish when I do that. So I tend to like to write my affirmations in my journal and rewrite them. Like if I'm leaning into something, I will write, my mind sees possibilities in all situations, and I will write it again and again and again which is really reinforcing to my RAS system that I see possibilities when I'm in a situation. I don't go, oh, well, that's just the way it is. I never really, and it's funny now that I'm saying that, I never say that. And when people say that, I go, but is it? Right? I am this kind of person who naturally goes, no, there has to be something, right? Some other option than what we're given. It's I'm the only person who will go sit down at like a Brazilian barbecue steakhouse type place and go, I'm a vegetarian. So what do you have for me? Like I expect that there is another possibility. I don't have to be a carnivore to dine there. It's just how I roll. So all right, everyone. We are going to say, oh, I'm going to go over a couple of slides and then we will wrap up our live stream. So to let you know what's going on, this is our calendar of events here at Organize to Elevate. The pink ones are the ones that are kind of happen on and off, maybe once a month. Sometimes they happen twice a month. There are rotating sessions. The purple sessions are the sessions that happen very regularly here at Organize to Elevate. So you can find them all on Meetup with the exception of group coaching that is specific to our Savvy Squad members. But everyone is welcome to come and join Savvy Squad, and you would get access to every single event that we do. Tuesday. I wanted to say tomorrow, but it's Tuesday. Tuesday, we are going to have our book club where we are reading Keep the Memories, Lose the Stuff by Matt Paxton. It is so deeply rooted in every single thing that I do with my clients. His way of assessing the things that we have in our home is just very delightful, right? It's really enjoying the memories behind everything, but not being weighed down by the servicing and maintenance and everything of the stuff that goes along with it. So we'll be discussing that on the 24th at 7:30. And then our June sessions in the Savvy Squad. So on Monday, we are talking about manifestation fatigue and what to do when you're doing all this manifesting work and the stuff is just not showing up. How to deal with that frustration, how to shift. So this way you start to see the real results you're desiring. And then we have a bonus week, this month. We have the fifth Monday. We're going to talk about making organization fun, how to gamify it, especially if you have ADHD or some type of neurodivergence. And if honestly, even if you just find it boring, right? Like this is a lot of tedious work that I don't want to do. We're going to talk about how to spice things up and make it more engaging. And then in July, all of our sessions are planned out. So, week one, Savvy Spaces, we're going to talk about decluttering your garage and shed. So, this way you can have a lighter season dealing with fall cleanup and then the next spring cleanup next year. Week two, Savvy Schedules, we're going to talk about balancing fun and focus during the summer because we want to go out and we want to do all these wonderful things, and yet we still feel like we have responsibilities that have to be taken care of. So, where do we find the harmony between those things? Week three, Savvy Mindset, staying grounded in a season of socializing. We are out, we are about, we are doing all these wonderful activities, and we are talking to all these different people and absorbing all these different viewpoints, right? And absorbing their energies. So, how do we stay grounded and preserve and protect our own self as we go through that? So, it's a great session if you feel like when you go over to family or friends, it's very impactful on your personal energy. We're going to talk about how to preserve your own energy a bit and still enjoy the company of others. And then Savvy Abundance. We're going to be talking about how to embody abundance, dressing, speaking, and walking in your worth. All of the ways that you can continue to keep elevating, even if you aren't seeing the results that you want right this instant. So, a lot of good sessions that are coming up. This is all the socials. I haven't had a chance to update this week, but we got to add YouTube on there too. So organize to elevate everywhere except for X. We are where we are at organize elevate just because of character restrictions. And then that's my cell phone. That's how you get in touch with me. I'm also on Voxer. My email address, website, everything is organized2elevate.com. And then the Oasis, members.organized2elevate.com. You can go there directly. More is coming. More is coming. The Oasis is going to get a bigger amount of content and a refresh. It's going to get some new graphics. It's all in the works. So I'm excited to share that with you. And as that develops, that QR code is going to take you straight to the Oasis too, where you can find the decluttering guide, all of our challenge posts. There's a lot of good stuff that's going on there. So if you don't have an account, make one. It's absolutely free, and I will not spam you with emails. Because why? Why should I? There's no benefit in that. All right. So to our YouTubers, thank you for watching. I hope that you had a great time hanging with us and focusing on your positivity. And for everyone who has joined live, I'm gonna wind up our live stream, and we'll go into a few minutes of Q&A. So thanks everybody who's joined on YouTube. And hang on one second while I end our